My name is Wesley Kelly. I would like to share a little bit with you about my experience at Jefferson Elementary. School was just being built here, and my friends and neighbors would come over here and watch the progress of the school. We'd come over here actually in the evenings and on weekends. There were big piles of dirt, and we would have dirt fights. We'd throw dirt clods at each other, in other words. But at the end of my fourth grade year, Jefferson had opened. It was then a school that had 6 classrooms, first through sixth grade, and a cafetorium, which was a cafeteria auditorium combined. We filled our school with kids, students who lived in the neighborhood. Everyone rode their bikes or walked to school. Jack Riley was principal at that time, and the principal taught all day. He was all-day principal. He had a real small office with a door going into the sixth grade classroom where he could, if he needed to take care of something in the office or administratively, he went in the office and did that, and we sat there and did our work. I was able to go to college and get my degree in elementary education. Came here 71, 72 school year. Was here 17 years. At that time, we taught school, and were half-time principal. All the elementary principals were. Dr. Burdick, who's another very important person in my life, he's the person that actually hired me. I was hired as Jefferson principal, was here for 17 years. At that time, we did not have locked doors. There weren't locked doors. There was no air conditioning when I first started. Every morning I would come in, and after we got the air conditioning, I would come in, go around to all the rooms, turn the heat or air on, depending what time of the year it was. And we had 2 doors that had chains on them that I had to remove because they wouldn't lock. They had chains locking the door so nobody could get in at night. But we had like 4 entrances into the building. Mm-hmm. None of them were locked at any time. Yeah. We came and go as we wanted to. People came and go as they wanted to. Well, one evening, it must have been between 5 and 6 o'clock, in this particular classroom, the teacher was giving I believe it was social studies test the next day, and she had the test run off and in her desk. Well, one of the parents came in and got a copy of the test, and her son memorized all the answers in order. Well, the custodian told her what had happened, and lo and behold, she changed the order of all the questions, and he missed every one of them. And Mama never said a word. During the time I was principal, I believe we had a turnover of 5 classroom teachers. People stayed here. We were a family here. The people in our attendance area, because it was a neighborhood school, they trusted us. We trusted them. We loved them. They love us. And we had a beautiful school just like they have here now. So that pretty much takes care of my Jefferson experience. I would like to say that I mentioned Jack Riley being influential, Dr. Burdick being very influential. Mr. Barnett was most influential.
When I came, we did not have a music room. So my music room was either the classrooms or, up and down the hall. So I learned to be very, very strong because I moved the piano and the books up and down the hall every day. But I also had some of my students would help me do that. And then a little bit later, I can't remember exactly the time, that we had one of the portables, and I had a music room there. It was a good time. When I first came, we just had the two classes of each class, and it was a good group of people to work with. Mr. Barnett was our principal at that time, and he was a character. I enjoyed him. The joy was most of all the children. I enjoyed the students. I had 1st through 6th, and I was trying to think, when I first came, I was here at Jefferson, and I also taught a couple of classes at Washington. And that's where I met, of course, Barbara Jackson, and we taught together 22 years and really enjoyed each other very much. 1976, that was the bicentennial. And so Barbara and I always went to Mrs. Jan's. She was the art teacher in junior high, and she helped us with, some of the art stuff. But then if we wanted something really special, we went to Joe Probst, who was the head of the maintenance. And Joe never knew what Barbara and I were going to come and ask him. And so that year, he built a big birthday cake. And we had a young lady, Lori McHenry, and she was Statue of Liberty. But anyway, we did all patriotic music that year, and everybody thoroughly enjoyed it. Everything was red, white, and blue, and oh, what a good joy. That was a joy. I enjoyed that very much. And let's see, I guess I just want to think that my students, I really enjoyed them. They were, for the most part, I wanted them to do one thing. I wanted them to enjoy music. And I always told them there's only two kinds of music, good and bad. And we wanted the good kind. And whatever kind they enjoyed, I hoped that they would take part. Because music was something you could use for the rest of your life. And music has been a joy in my life. I think of the teachers, Pryor and Jefferson was very, very blessed with good teachers. And for that, I'm grateful. And I'm grateful that I had that opportunity to be here. So.
Well, I'm Lucy Kelly, and I started teaching here in Pryor in 1973. And when the Whitaker building closed, I came to Jefferson, and that was in 1983. I taught third grade for 15 years in the same classroom, and with Ruth and Donna and Margie and Becky and the whole crew. And it was just like family. I love my job, I love the people I worked with, and I love my students.
My name is Dolores Devers, Knopfsinger now, but I started teaching at Jefferson in 1978, and I was here until 1997. I loved it. I came to Jefferson, and I had the response from the kids. I thought, oh my gosh, these kids are all geniuses, because they had good home training. Most of them had both parents. Most of them were settled. And so they were ready for school, and it was an exciting time. I loved my time here. And at that time, it was much different. I think it was much smaller then than it is now. But the teachers that I worked with, oh my gosh, I can remember all of them. But I especially remember my team teachers, Marcia Schultz and Karen Zizzo and Jessie Alcorn. We worked as a team working together. And one of the things that my class, the sixth grade, always did was to study the Middle Ages. And you try to think about, what can I do to make this class interesting? So one of the things that we did was to build a castle out of cardboard boxes, paper mache, whatever kinds of turrets we could build out of oatmeal boxes. And so we would do that as an incentive to get their lessons done. If you've got everything caught up, you can go work on the castle. And the kids helped design it with the walls and the turrets and the keep. Everything that we've studied in our social studies book, we applied to this castle. They were an apprentice. They became a master craftsman, and finally they could be the leader of the guild. And one kid learned how to do the paper mache, he would teach the next one. So this was our introduction into the apprenticeship, how they taught. They didn't have schools like we have, but it was a lot of fun. And then after this session was gone, what I would do was I would put all the kids' names in a hat, and I could draw out a name, and they could take the castle home. So the kids were always eager to find out who was going to win the castle, and they had to get permission from their parents because this was a big thing that you had to take home. The girls would want to win it, the boys would want to win it. But one year, the boys won. So the boy got to take the castle home, and the girls were, oh no, we wanted that castle. So after the next week, they came back and the girls wanted to know, what did you do with the castle? What happened to the castle? The boy said, oh, we had a good war and we blew up the castle and we set it on fire. The girls were moaning about that. They said, we were going to play, we were going to have Rapunzel, we were going to have the prince and the princess go. That divided the girls from the boys the rest of that year, that those boys took that castle home and destroyed it. But we did all kinds of things in 6th grade. The 6th graders at that time was the oldest class at Jefferson, and they were supposed to be the leaders. Well, you wanted them to be able to do some extra things. One of the extra things that we did was we always made a quilt. In our social studies, we learned that people didn't always have the technology that we have today, so they sewed with a needle and thread. So we made a quilt that would be raffled off at the, I think it was Halloween Carnival every year. But we enjoyed the 6th grade. It was very much a pleasure to teach here at Jefferson, and I will always treasure my time here.
My name is Becky West, and I taught school at Jefferson for 36 years, same classroom in the 2nd grade. It was just wonderful. Both of my girls went to school here, and they loved it too, and I didn't ever want to miss. I liked it. And the children were wonderful. You could maybe not be having a good day at home when you left, but when you got here, they were so much fun and said funny things. That's what I remember. They were just a fun group, and I love them, and I think they love me too. The cafeteria workers were like their family. Mrs. Little Dave and Mrs. Myers, and when the kids would come through the cafeteria line, they would just talk to them like they were their family, and they loved the cinnamon roll and stew day. That was their favorite, and their parents' favorite. They would come eat on those days. This picture was drawn by Allison Bates. She's a Dr. Moore now, but this is a picture of me that she drew.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cute?
It's so cute.
And then here's another one that Kayla drew, and it says, I want you to sit down right now. Do you hear me now? And then I always had my glasses up here, and I was always saying, where are my glasses? And she put, where are my glasses? And I thought that was real cute. I was flipping through these pictures and things that I've saved, and they always say, oh, I love you, and you were so nice, and they say real sweet things to you. And the last one I came to was a picture of 2 little birds. There was a bird up here and a bird down here, and the bird up here was the student, and the bird down here was me. And he said, hello, Mrs. Gripey Butt. And I thought that was so funny because all of them were so sweet messages, and then that one was probably true to form. The teachers were, we weren't just close up here. We did things together all the time. They had dinners or cookouts, or the Hunts were having us over for fish fry, and we had Christmas parties at the different houses. And anyway, it was just fun. It was just a fun place to be.
I'm Joan Little Dave, and I worked at Jefferson for 21 years. I started back in about 1992 or so, and I had some great people to work with. My first people were Virginia Kemp, Thelma Brown, great role models. And we had some good times. Sometimes it was hard, but we tried to serve a really good meal to our kids. And our thing was we always, if we can't eat it, we don't want to feed it to the kids. We want it to taste good, and they were great to work with, and I had others that was great to work with too, but I loved my job. I love cooking, and the kids, when they come through, especially if we had spaghetti or macaroni and cheese, and they'd say, "Miss Joan, we're going to have seconds?" And I said, maybe so, maybe so. But one memory I do have, and it was a compliment that I thought was great. My daughter teaches at junior high, and she had one of the kids that was at Jefferson. He said, "Oh, it was different. Miss Joan made it with love." And I thought that was such a compliment. But we tried really hard. I just loved the kids, and I wanted to serve them a good meal. And that's what we did. That's just how it was at Jefferson. And great people to work with, our principals, and everybody was good. So I just know we made things from homemade. We did it from scratch. And they loved the cinnamon rolls and the chili to go with it when we had school lunch week. But I still like to cook and still do some of it. But I have great memories at Jefferson.
Hi, I'm Connie Jackson. I was the counselor here at Jefferson from the fall of '82 through spring of 2015. We had a very close-knit faculty. The children were great. I liked the school so much that I brought my children here, even though they lived in another neighborhood. I had classroom guidance monthly, which was one of my favorite parts of my job. I think one of the favorite things that the children enjoyed doing was having lunch with me. They got to eat with me a couple times a week, but they each got to eat with me one time a semester. And so that meant 2 times a year. And when you have 300 students, you have to share the time. And it was just a relaxed, casual time of visiting and getting better acquainted. And it was fun. And when I see former students now, they'll say, "Oh, I had lunch with you at school." Yes, we had a good time. My favorite part of being here was the children. And some of them were challenging, but most of them were so sweet and so loving. I was so blessed to get to work with elementary age children. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lisa Becerra. I was a teacher at Jefferson from August 1988 to May of 2023. I had spent 35 years in the same room, which is half of Jefferson's history. It's hard to believe that I was here and made 35 out of the 70 years at Jefferson. I have many, many memories here. My main feeling is that when I walked in that front door, I always felt like I was a part of this building, and it was my family. And I felt that way the day I left. It was kind of heart-wrenching when I left, but I have so many great memories. We always interacted with our students and carried on like we were family. They hugged us, we hugged them, we laughed with them, we cried with them. We shared their joys and their sorrows all through the years. One thing that I did always enjoy is when we interacted with them on talent show day. I can remember we all sang back up for Pretty Woman when our principal, Tim Nutter, dressed as the Pretty Woman. We did Oh Father, Where Art Thou? And that one was kind of a bust. Kids didn't really recognize that, but we had fun doing it. And I remember the last one that we did was when we did the evolution of dance. Now, some of those dances weren't exactly what I would have liked to have been doing up there, but another that I remember is that we did a contest, and We had Mr. Beatty dress up as Cyndi Lauper in the tutu and the whole bit, and sang Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and the kids loved it. They loved what we did. They loved being a part of that. My own children went to Jefferson, and from kindergarten through 6th grade at the time, and Jefferson was a great place to build a good family foundation and educational foundation for these students that left here. I have many students that have gone on to do great things. I see students every day in the community, and it's just wonderful feeling knowing that they still remember me and they want to see me out and about, and it's just a good feeling being at Jefferson. It's a good feeling driving back into the parking lot this morning, kind of deja vu, like, what am I not doing here? Why am I not here now? But Jefferson is a wonderful place to be. It's a great family relationship with the kids, with the staff. I do miss that in this time in my life, but all I have to do is come back here and see everyone and get that feeling right back.
My name's Kelly Vance. I have been teaching at Jefferson since 2001, and I am still currently teaching. I also was a student at Jefferson, and my grandkids have gone through Jefferson, as well as my own boys. So I kind of love Jefferson. There have been a lot of changes over the years from when I was a student here, from the beginning of when I first started teaching here, but one thing that has continued to be the same is how you feel when you come in the building. I've loved it here as a student. I always felt like I was loved, and I feel that as a teacher too. Teachers with each other, with the kids, it's like everyone really enjoys coming to work here, and we just feel it's a family.
Hi, I'm Dana Holcroft, and I went to Jefferson all the way from kindergarten to 6th grade. This is my 13th year teaching, with the last 5 years being at Jefferson. Okay. When the 2nd grade position opened at Jefferson, I decided to come over because I thought, what a cool, fun, rewarding experience to come back to the school that invested so much in me and taught me so much. And I can really truly appreciate the time and the love and everything that was dedicated to me and, all my friends when I went to school here as a student. And so I just want to say thank you to all those educators that invested in my life, and now I'm here, giving back. And so I just want to say thank you to my kindergarten teacher, was Mrs. Walters, my 1st grade teacher, Mrs. Thorne, 2nd grade teacher was Mrs. West, my 3rd grade teacher was Mr. Nutter, 4th grade teacher was Mrs. Schultz. My 5th grade teacher, I had Mrs. Becerra, but I also got the privilege of having Mrs. Kelly Vance. And my 5th grade teacher was Mr. Alcorn. My music teacher, guys, just think how I can name every teacher. That's how much they meant to me. My music teacher, Mrs. Talley. My PE teacher, Mrs. Hedger. And a counselor, Mrs. Jackson. And then my principal was Mr. Kelly. So thank you, guys. Okay, one of probably the funniest, oddest things I feel like that I loved when I was a student and the kids here love, and we're just always like, why do they want a pencil out of the pencil box? But the students here now as a teacher, I watch them every morning so excited to buy a pencil, and we have a pencil box out there now that you put a quarter in and they get to buy a pencil, and they'll buy 5 and 6 pencils. We think it's silly, but that's probably one of my bigger memories of Jefferson was it used to be in Mr. Kelly's office, and you got to go in the principal's office, and in his closet he had this, it was just, I felt like it was such a fancy thing of just pencils, and you could buy a pencil from him, and it was just the coolest thing. One of my favorite things about Jefferson as a student was just the activities we did, having music. I still remember the songs and music. Talent shows. I still have my talent show trophy that I won in 1990. just the book fair. Every kid loves getting something from the book fair. Just those things that made daily life at Jefferson fun, and those are still the same traditions and things we do here now. They may just look a little bit different. I need to add that I was not only a talent show winner, but I also won the Jacks tournament.
Robert Beatty. I have taught here. This is my 12th year. I started 2014. I started in 3rd grade, taught 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, and then was assistant principal for 1 year, and now I'm on my 5th year as principal. I love seeing, just being around the kids and being a part of their lives and seeing them grow. I love seeing the change in them, seeing them accomplish something when they know they can't or think they can't, and then we can show them that they can. But this is a great chance for them to be successful and to feel like they matter and that they're loved. So I love that part of it. Jefferson felt that way from the beginning. Jefferson was home. My son went here. I substituted here when I was going to school. I believe relationships are huge with teachers and with students. And so building those relationships, going out playing football with them, playing soccer with them, basketball, just racing around with them and just having a good time. I feel like they need that. Really, I just want our kids to come away from here having the foundation that they need to be successful, moving on to the next level, which would be middle school. I hope that they would all go on and be successful in whatever they choose to do, whether that is college, whether it is straight to the workforce, a tech job, or just whatever that is, a support job in society. But just good members, good wholesome people, have good morals, know right from wrong, and just work hard. So our job is to build that foundation. We are the beginning, and we need to build that for them socially. We need to build that for them academically. And I just hope that they have that when they leave here. And that's the goal I have. That's the hope I have for all of our students. And then I just hope our teachers feel supported, feel loved, and have all the tools they need that they can make sure that happens.